The Torque Command automatic transmission is available as an option on all current model AMC and Jeep vehicles. Its service requirements are minimal and performance problems easy to diagnose if the right procedures are used. Obviously, you must understand how the Torque Command transmission operates before you attempt to perform diagnosis procedures. Operational information is detailed in a previously produced training kit entitled Torque Command Fundamentals and Diagnosis, release number 79-4. Basically, that kit relates operational information to potential performance problems. If you haven't already done so, be sure to study that training kit before you view this film. This training kit deals specifically with the procedures you can use to service a Torque Command unit. In this film, we'll discuss the diagnosis and light repairs procedures you can use to correct performance problems. We'll also cover maintenance requirements you should be familiar with. When diagnosing a Torque Command performance problem, your first step should be a road test. There are some very specific things to look for. Before you take the vehicle out on the road, perform a quick test to verify the adjustment of the manual linkage. First, apply the parking brake. Then, move the selector lever toward park until it clicks into the park range. When you turn the ignition switch to its start position, the starter should engage. Then, return the switch to the off position. Move the lever slowly toward neutral until the lever clicks into the neutral position. When you turn the ignition switch to start, the starter should engage. Turn the switch off. Make sure that the starter does not operate with the lever in any other position. If the starter doesn't operate in park or neutral, or if it does operate in any other range, the manual linkage may be out of adjustment. This adjustment, which we'll discuss shortly, should be made before you road test the vehicle. During your road test, operate the transmission in every gear range. There are several observations you should make in each range. Pay attention to shift quality. Are the shifts harsh or spongy? Note the speeds at which upshifts and downshifts occur. Also look for transmission slippage and engine speed flare, which indicate clutch or band problems. Be sure to check for engagement and disengagement of the lock-up torque converter. Copies of this diagnosis guide have been included in this training kit. This book is designed to serve as an on-the-job diagnostic aid you can use when diagnosing a Torque Command performance problem. The application chart on the front identifies the mechanical components engaged in each gear range. By consulting this chart after your road test, you can determine if component damage is causing your problem, and if so, which ones are defective. You'll find that most performance problems are not the result of component damage and can be eliminated by basic maintenance procedures. So at this point, we'll cover these procedures: the fluid level and condition check, the manual linkage adjustment, the throttle linkage adjustment, band adjustments, filter check and replacement, and finally, the valve body screw retorquing procedure. When you return from the road test, always check the fluid level and condition. If the level's too low, the pump takes in air bubbles along with fluid. The fluid becomes spongy, and the pressures will be low and slow to build, resulting in erratic shifting. In addition to causing an erratic shift condition, a low fluid level results in overheating of the transmission and varnishing of internal components. If there's too much fluid in the transmission, the gears churn up foam, which also results in air bubbles being introduced into the fluid. Again, shifting can become erratic. A high fluid level can also result in fluid being expelled from the transmission vent. This condition can be mistaken for a fluid leak. A low or high fluid level can interfere with the operation of any or all of these components: the valve body, clutches, and the servos. Before you check the fluid level, place the transmission in neutral and apply the parking brake. Remove the dipstick, wipe it off, then check the fluid level. It should be between the add 1 pint and full marks. If the level is low, always inspect the transmission for leaks. Add or drain the fluid as necessary to establish the correct level. If you need to add fluid, use only Dexron 2 ATF. The condition of the fluid can tell you a lot about the general condition of the transmission. The fluid should be red in color and free of excessive metal particles. The milky fluid on the top here is a result of the fluid becoming contaminated with coolant. The black burned fluid on the bottom indicates that the transmission has overheated. In most cases, this burned fluid has a distinct smell. High temperatures can also result in a varnish condition. If the dipstick doesn't wipe entirely clean, then a varnish condition is present. In addition to the dipstick, many of the internal components will also be covered with varnish. Excessive metal particles in the fluid indicates mechanical component damage. Next, we'll discuss the manual linkage adjustment. In addition to affecting starter operation, an out-of-adjustment manual linkage can result in creeping in neutral, transmission slip in drive, or the parking sprag may not hold. The adjustment procedure is a quick one. First, loosen the shift rod clamp nut. Remove the lock pin that locks the shift rod trunnion to its bell crank. Then disengage the trunnion. Place the lever in park and lock the steering column. Move the valve body manual lever all the way to the rear into the park detent. Be sure the lever is moved rearward as far as possible. Make sure the parking pawl is fully engaged by attempting to rotate the propeller shaft. It shouldn't rotate. Reinstall the shift rod trunnion in the bell crank. Then remove the free play from the column linkage and tighten the clamp nut. Check for proper starter operation in park and neutral and make sure that it doesn't operate in any other range. If starter operation is still incorrect, the neutral safety switch may be defective. Finally, check the steering lock for ease of operation. The throttle linkage positions a valve that controls shift points, shift quality, and part throttle downshift sensitivity. The throttle linkage adjustment procedure varies with engine application, 4, 6, or 8-cylinder engines. If you find it necessary to perform this adjustment, be sure to consult the appropriate section of the technical service manual. Next, let's discuss band adjustments. The rear band adjustment is an internal one, so the first step involves removal of the oil pan and filter. Next, loosen the adjusting screw lock nut. Use a torque wrench to tighten the adjusting screw to the specification listed in the technical service manual. Then back the adjusting screw off the specified number of turns. Hold the adjusting screw in position and tighten the lock nut to the specification listed in the technical service manual. The front band is an external adjustment. Therefore, the transmission oil pan doesn't need to be removed. For photographic purposes, we've performed this adjustment on the bench. However, you can easily make the adjustment without removing the transmission. Begin by backing off the adjusting screw lock nut 5 turns. Make sure the adjusting screw turns freely in the case. If the screw binds, lubricate it. Use the special torque wrench and adapter shown here to tighten the adjusting screw to the specification listed in the technical service manual. Then back the screw off 2 or 2.5 turns, depending on the model of the transmission. Finally, tighten the lock nut to the technical service manual specification. Be sure the adjusting screw doesn't turn during this step. This is a good time to discuss the filter check and replacement procedure. A clogged filter can result in any of these conditions: slow gear engagement when the transmission's cold, delayed shifts, overheating, or the transmission may not engage in any gear. The filter should be inspected and, if necessary, replaced whenever the bands are adjusted. Whenever you have occasion to replace a filter, be sure to check the torque on the valve body bolts. Each bolt should be torqued to 100 inch-pounds. When you torque the bolts, be sure to follow this pattern. After the valve body bolts have been torqued, install a new pan gasket, then the pan itself. If the procedures discussed thus far haven't isolated the problem, your next step should be a series of hydraulic pressure tests. Before you perform the pressure tests, be sure to consult your technical service manual for complete testing and safety precautions. The pressure tests are performed with this test set, which consists of 5 color-coded pressure hoses and 2 pressure gauges. The 400 psi gauge is used to measure rear servo pressure in reverse and manual low gears. The 100 psi gauge is used to perform all of the other tests. Test 1 measures line pressure, which engages the clutches and bands. At idle, line pressure should be 54 to 60 psi. Next, disconnect the throttle linkage at the carburetor. Operate the engine at 1600 RPM and move the throttle linkage to the full throttle position. Line pressure should increase to at least 90 psi. Test 2. The front servo release test measures the transmission's ability to perform a third gear to second gear downshift smoothly. With the engine operating at 1000 RPM, allow the transmission to upshift into third gear. Front servo pressure should be within 3 psi of line pressure. Then slowly move the throttle linkage to the full throttle position. After the transmission has shifted down into second gear, the pressure should drop to 0. Test 3 tests operation of the rear servo. At idle, this reading should be 160 psi. When engine speed is raised to 1600 RPM, the pressure should increase to 270 psi. Test 4 measures governor pressure, which controls shift points. With the transmission in drive, the brakes applied, and the engine at idle, governor pressure should be no more than 1 1/2 psi. As you increase speed, governor pressure should increase at the rate of approximately 1 psi for every 1 mile per hour. The last test is the lubrication pressure test. With the transmission in drive and the engine at idle, lubrication pressure should be 5 to 15 psi. When the engine speed is increased to 1000 RPM and the throttle linkage is moved to full throttle, lubrication pressure should increase to 10 to 30 psi. Check the technical service manual for pressure specifications for vehicles not equipped with a lock-up torque converter. As we said at the beginning of this film, this training kit is designed to familiarize you with torque command diagnosis, light repair, and maintenance procedures. Two specific goals of this kit are to help you diagnose performance problems quickly and effectively, and to help you avoid unnecessary teardowns. Keep in mind the points we've discussed. Always perform a thorough road test to determine exactly what the problem is. Pay attention to shift quality in each range, as well as shift speeds and possible slippage. Check for proper engagement and disengagement of the lockup torque converter. And finally, consult the diagnosis guide included in this training kit. The guide can help you isolate the problem source quickly and direct you to the procedures you can use to correct the problem.